Most people say they believe in God, but they live like he's just a theory, not a reality. So, I decided to test something radical. For 1 full week, I would try to live completely Catholic. Not halfway, not just in private, but fully, in every moment, every choice, and every word. No compromises. That meant daily mass. It meant going to confession. It meant no gossip, no wasting time endlessly scrolling online, and absolutely no complaining. It meant charity done in secret, finding silence every single night before bed, and a full digital fast from anything that didn't lift my soul. Day 1 began with a burst of confidence. I woke up early, prayed the rosary, and honestly, I felt like a saint in training. But by noon, the reality hit me. I realized just how addicted I was to distraction. My hand kept reaching for my phone like it had its own will. I'd open my messages, scroll for a second, and then have to force myself to stop. It was a wake-up call. I wasn't busy, I was just bored. And that boredom had become my default escape. When I started replacing those empty moments with prayer, something amazing happened. Time slowed down. My mind, which usually jumps from one thought to the next like a pinball, actually started to breathe. But the real battle, the true test, started at work. You know the scene. The gossip circles by the coffee machine, the small talk laced with subtle pride, that quiet, constant temptation to just fit in by saying what everyone else is saying. Every single moment became a moral fork in the road. Choose holiness or choose comfort. By day 3, I was exhausted. I mean, truly drained. Living intentionally is so much harder than just sinning by default, and temptation doesn't always roar like a lion. Sometimes it just whispers, "Go on, just this once." Nobody will even notice. That night, feeling defeated, I went to adoration. At first, the silence was heavy, almost uncomfortable, the kind that feels like absolutely nothing is happening. But then, as I sat there, I noticed something profound. For the first time in months, maybe even years, I wasn't asking God for anything. I was just there, present with Him, and just being there was enough. The next morning, something had shifted. My co-workers noticed I was different. They said I seemed calmer, more present. One of them even came up to me and said, "You seem really peaceful lately." That one comment hit me harder than any sermon I've ever heard. It made me realize the whole point of faith isn't to appear holy for others. It's to let God's peace overflow from you so much that other people can actually feel it. Then came day 5. I broke. It was a moment of anger, a sharp word I couldn't take back, a flash of pride that got the better of me. I failed. And for a second, all I wanted to do was quit the entire challenge. But right in that moment of failure, the most important lesson became crystal clear. Holiness is not about perfection. It's about beginning again, right after you fall. The saints weren't saints because they never stumbled. They were saints because they got back up every single time. Going to confession the next day felt completely different. I wasn't there just out of obligation or routine. I was there because I had tasted how exhausting self-reliance truly is. Grace is like oxygen. You don't really notice it until you start choking without it. I needed that grace more than ever. By day 7, something strange happened. The silence wasn't awkward anymore. It was comforting. Social media didn't tempt me like it used to. Prayer no longer felt like a checklist of things to do. It felt like coming home. And the world outside didn't look as chaotic as it once did. It was still loud, still imperfect, still broken, but underneath it all, I could sense a rhythm, quiet, steady pulse of divine order that had always been there, just waiting for me to notice. At the end of the week, I didn't feel like a saint. Not at all. I felt small, but that smallness wasn't defeat. It was freedom, because for the first time, I realized that holiness isn't about doing more, achieving more, or being more perfect. It's about depending more on grace, on mercy, on a love that's bigger than our failures. We live in a world that constantly tells you to curate your life, to perform for an audience, to optimize every second. But the truth is, the most radical thing you can do today is to live simply, honestly, and openly before God. To choose virtue in the small, unseen things. To pray when no one's watching. To love when it actually costs you something. And when you fail, because you will fail to get back up and begin again. That's what it truly means to live fully Catholic, not just for 7 days a week, but one day at a time, one choice at a time. So maybe the real question isn't, can I live fully Catholic in this world? Maybe the question we should all be asking is, what would happen if I actually tried? Thanks so much for watching. If this video resonated with you, please consider liking it and subscribing to the channel for more content like this. God bless.